Welcome back to the Sunday Supplement. With me this week, Danny Fulbrook from the Daily Star, Neil Custis is here from The Sun, and Patrick Barclay from The Times. The kind of headlines you're waking up to this morning: Mail on Sunday, Anfield deal on brink of collapse, that if the club go into administration and are docked 9 points on Tuesday in the High Court, then a lot of papers saying that the new US owners will walk away. Same story on the back of the News of the World. Just draw your attention to here. Tom Hicks, hated by the Liverpool fans, has distanced himself further by calling the cop that noise over there we're dealing with. I wouldn't think he ever can go back to Anfield again after that. Sunday Express: Rooney, we need a break. Wayne Rooney calling for a mid-season break to help the Premier League and also the England team. And Steve McLaren says, I never want the England job again. Hooray, I say. And why we would ever consider him again, I don't know. Tackling Danny, with the emphasis on Danny Murphy this week, saying that it is bad and too many clubs, and he cited obviously Stoke and Blackburn and Wolves, their managers firing up players too much. Do you agree with that or not?
I do. I think that it's a facade when these certain players say, you know, we've never been sent out to go and hurt other players. Now, you know, that is the emotion that everyone puts into the thing. Oh, it's okay, I never meant to hurt him. You know, that wasn't, you know, that's not what I meant to happen. But that doesn't take into account the fact that certain teams are set up to get into other teams, and that in itself means unsettle them. That in itself means tug them, kick them, push them, work right on the edge of whatever you can. And that's, for me, is what Danny Murphy is talking about. We sat down this week and interviewed Kevin Davis up at the Grove with England. Now, you know, he's the most fouled player in the Premier League at times, and basically makes the most fouls. He admits that he plays on the edge and tried to suggest that Sam Allardyce's teams, of which he played for at Bolton for a long time, no, they would never sent out to unsettle teams in that way. But I just think it's a joke. I think that the speed with which the game is played at, the way in which certain managers feel they have to produce their teams to get points, which everyone's desperate for at the moment, given the financial, you know, involvement in football and Premier League football these days, means that they will do anything at all costs to make sure they get a result. And what is happening, those players going out pumped up, emotionally charged, and then making bad tackles, and you're ending up with some dreadful injuries that we've seen this, you know, in the last few weeks.
I don't think there's anything new in teams going out pumped up and highly charged,
especially lesser players against better players.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything new also in teams going out to kick the opposition. I mean, you know, you only have to watch Match of the 70s. Oh, you're a veteran, Paddy, but you'd be able to tell me some more. You'd only have to watch, you know, old matches where they did literally go out and kick people, didn't they?
Yes, in football.
But they didn't go out and kick them after a 30-yard run, probably. No, I think there was a good point made in the week about the fact that the players now are so fit. You know, they're real athletes now, and even late in games, they're still running extremely fast, getting big tackles in. And I think it's the speed of the impact sometimes that's doing it now. Whereas before it was like a kick in the ankles or a little scrap for the ball or something. I think it's the pure speed of the impact now that's creating these injuries. That was, I mean, the Jong one, I mean, that was outrageous. I mean, I do think he went over the top there.
But do you think he meant to or not?
Whether I don't think he meant to.
A free kick not given?
Well, no, he didn't mean to break his leg, but certainly to go in with those two legs flat. But that second leg took him out from behind the knee. You know, I mean, that was just, you know, and he came in at speed and he did it. Now, I'm sure he didn't mean to break his leg, but he certainly meant to get the ball. And if the player was secondary, it doesn't matter.
When the drunk driver gets in his car, he doesn't get in the car with the intention of killing a little girl, but that is more likely to happen because of his behaviour. And I think that to an extent you can draw that analogy with the way football is played now. I think the accusations, when Danny Murphy was making a point, and I don't even know if he knew the press were there while he was talking, because he spoke with such candour. A little bit unfair, I thought, to Sam Allardyce, because Blackburn Rovers, when I've seen them, I haven't seen a bad tackle of that club under his management. But what you see all the time is impeding of goalkeepers, breaking of the rules, and it's the problem in English football is too much leniency from referees, both in terms of gamesmanship, you know, hitting goalies early, too early for the referee to spot, doing all that kind of stuff, staying down, all the tricks, and also in terms of the violence, which is much worse here I mean, if you had, instead of us around this table, if you had Galavotti, O'Clair and Honigstein, if you had 3 European, they'd be saying, well, only politeness would stop them from saying we're aghast at what goes on in your league, because it wouldn't go on anywhere else.
So why does it go on here?
Because of the I don't know what's caused it, but the refereeing here is far too lax. It's ridiculous. Last weekend, everybody talked about Carl Henry, everybody talked about
De Jong,
and De Jong, and rightly so. But there were 5 potential leg breaking tackles committed last in the Premier League alone. 5, and only 1 got a red card. That is the equivalent of a murder clear-up rate.
You wouldn't be very doing well on the wire, would you?
I did a thing with Rio Ferdinand a couple of weeks ago, and he made a very good point about, to answer that question about why does it happen here. He says when we go out on the pitch, he says the fans are so determined that we attack, that we get stuck in. He says you'll get just as big a shout for a real crunching tackle as you will for a goal. And he says, and that filters down to the 2 sides, who go at it hammer and tongs. And when there's a period of play when, and this is what's happening at City, I think, with some critics of the way City play, when there's a period of play when they get to the halfway line, they pass it back, they move it round to their, you know, there's a, like,
it is cultural.
It's
cultural. I mean, football was, everybody says football was invented here, but it was invented, when it was invented here, it was not football as you would recognise it. It didn't involve dribbling or passing. It was basically a license.
How do you know?
It was a license.
He did a match report. He did the
first match was played not far from here. But you know, I've taken the trouble of reading up on it. I recommend that to you. I'll get somebody to read it to you. But
the last point on tackling. So make it
one of your pieces. Someone will
I'll make it.
Get on with
explain what it means.
Where were we?
You've forgotten now, haven't you?
Yes, but he keeps interrupting me. I mean, it's up to you as chairman.
There's a natural aggression. There's a natural aggression in English football, which is historical,
okay.
And which comes down to the way that we expect our footballers to play football.
And a tribalism with the fans.
It is also, but also you get the Dutch coach dropping De Jong, and he sends his team out to kick lumps out of Spain in the World Cup final.
Pathetic. That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's Jim tried to make it look like he's a peacemaker.
I mean, he's an arrogant. We saw in the World Cup. He's got an ego and arrogance about him.
But he was right.
Isn't he?
As Fergie says, everybody, the Dutch.
Was he not right, though, to leave De Jong out of
those
games?
I think he was absolutely right.
I think he was wrong with the principle in the World Cup final. Anyway, no doubt.
So 2 wrongs make a right?
No. We will come back to Paddy and we'll come back to tackling another week. But we move on. Wayne Rooney wants a mid-season break. Would that help the England team or the Premier League? I wonder if the boys agree. We'll find out next.
Rooney's just had one.